Good evening and welcome to the CDR Round 2 of Tier 1 that takes us to the Shanghai International Circuit in China. Well, on the back of a brilliant performance last week, it was Rabico who won the first race in Zandvoort 7 days ago. That has seen him get off to the perfect start to the season. But of course, there is a long way to go yet. We've been a 16-round championship that'll go right all the way to the end of March. We'll run through the calendar soon. We've got an 18-minute qualifying of Q1. Then we've got a 15-minute Q2 session and then Q3 of 12 minutes to decide the grid for today's race. So we're just waiting for the session to begin. There is one driver in reserve who's just been called in for tonight. We'll go through that in a moment. So the session begins, 18 minutes. Drivers just sorting out their setups. Flix has retired from the session. I would assume that he will be serving a quali ban. I'll find out more in terms of what exactly has happened in regards to that. So, in terms of what happened last week, so Flix is serving a full quali ban for the next race as per legals for not supplying footage, and will also have 3 super license points deducted from his total. All the drivers have 12 super license points, and then if they do anything naughty on circuit, that's when they have points deducted, which can lead towards a race ban and their seat being under review, which is not where they want to be doing. So we know that Flix is out of qualifying, and he will go no further. We'll just wait to see which of the other 4 drivers we'll lose at the end of this Q1 session before the other 15 advance into the second part of qualifying. Now, Weatherman Harry in the Aston Martin isn't around, so Cami, who competed on numerous occasions last season, has been called in. I've just seen that the rain has started to fall already before a flying lap has started. So all of those on circuit now, they need to get a lap in as soon as they can before the track becomes less and less grippy. So MDG doing very well to get out on track straight away. Just over 2 minutes into the session now. The DRS open on the Williams. He's got a Red Bull in front of him. So in terms of other penalties as well. So Flix will have 10 seconds added to his next race for a moderate avoidable collision. So he's also been given 3 penalty points, 3 penalty points lost from his total, so he's down to 6 as a result of it. Bruges will have 5 seconds removed from the time. Well, he got 5 seconds removed from the time at Zandvoort. Flix didn't even finish the race, I don't believe, so... Well, either way, there's a penalty coming his way. There's MDG going through Sector 2 already. The rain continuing to come down, so you'll start to see the drops onto the circuit. MDG exiting turns 14 and 15. He's got the left hand of 16 to get through, and then over the line to post the first time of the session, which is a 1 minute 32.9. Now, how are those behind getting on? Sinix in the AlphaTauri is coming through. His lap time is quicker than MDG, so he goes to the top for now, at least. Scotty goes third, 1:33.8. That's not very quick, to be quite honest with you. There's Noodles in the Mercedes. He's going over the line now. It's a 1:34.0. Noodles is in deep trouble at the moment with the time he's posted. He's dropping down like a stone. Colin goes second with 1:32.5, less than a tenth shy of the fastest time so far. Jaihu in the Haas, coming down the pit straight now, and it's a 1:33.8, and he goes 10th, pushing Scotty and Noodles down. Here is Dan in the Ferrari. We go on board. He enters the last turn. It's not a very quick lap, actually, so he's lost a lot of time somewhere. There's Jay Hartnell, who's one of the drivers who's left it late. Calvin is also on circuit. Callum is as well. Martin's stuck in the pits, so I wonder if Martin may be thinking about sitting out qualifying. Noodles is another driver as well who will have a penalty, a time penalty for this race. So Jay Harnell over the line with 1:34.8. Red Dog only 16 for 1:36.0. He's in the drop zone at the moment. Callum's lap time has been invalidated, so he'll have to go round again. So I'm not sure if it's worth going round again, to be honest with you, given the situation with the conditions. He's got to watch out for cars behind, because they'll be... Oh, I don't want to be parking there either. I mean, it's not ideal to be parking like that. But he's got it going now. He's going at a snail's pace, is Callum, so he's ducking into the pits now. And I think, effectively, that is Q1 over. And if that's the case, the 5 drivers we lose from this session are Red Dog, Dan, Flix, Martin, and Callum. Well, Dan has posted a better time, but only good enough for 17th, so he's effectively out of qualifying, I would think. Jay Hunnell definitely not improving. I don't think Calvin is improving either in the Red Bull. So the drivers will be making their way back to the pits. And Calvin going a bit too quick. Way too quick. Yeah, that was just silly from Calvin. He was lucky to keep going, actually, because otherwise that would have been the end of his qualifying session as well. Had he taken terminal damage to his Red Bull. There's Bruges out on the circuit. He'll want to make his way back into the pits as soon as possible. He does not need to be out there now. So Bruges coming round then. Red Dog is out on circuit again. He wants to try and improve, but I doubt he's going to. Dan will be making his way back to the pits for sure. There's Bruges on his way in, so we may as well just stay with Red Dog. I think he's going to find that there's just no more grip left on that racetrack. Yeah, I think he's going to struggle, to be honest with you, with the amount of rain that's coming down. He's 16th on the moment on a 1:36.0. If he was to improve, he would need to improve by at least 1.2 seconds, really. I doubt he's going to get even close to that. He's going to go on for a lap here, so let's see how he gets on. The DRS is still enabled at the moment. He catches the curve through turn 1, but it's so far so good actually from Red Dog. Now we're heading towards the first sector. What is his time like through here? Well, he's over a couple of seconds behind, so I doubt he's going to find the time he needs through the remainder of this lap. The DRS is now disabled, so I think Red Dog may as well forget it. MDG's out on the set of intermediate tyres, probably to explore the circuit, see what the conditions are like with the green side marks. Intermediates are like. And so Cannon's retired from the session as well. His place in Q2 is all but secure now. So yeah, Red Dog makes his way back to the pits. Avoids making contact with the wall. There's Martin on circuit now in the Alfa Romeo. So there's Martin on his outlap. I think these are just exploratory laps for the guys. I don't think they'll be wanting to take too much life out of these intermediates. No idea, they want to be saving them for the sessions that follow. So Calvin has continued on to do a flying lap in the Red Bull. So Flix is on 9 super license points at the moment. Noodles likewise. MTG down to 11. The rest are still on 12 super license points as we speak. And if the conditions continue to deteriorate, will the full wets be necessary? And Calvin dropping it there, but continues. So Calvin, who had a nightmare of a race in Zandvoort. Well, he didn't have a nightmare, but he finished in 7th place, which is At least some decent points on the board. He had hoped for more. So we've got Martin who's coming round now. Will he decide to complete this though? I think for the sake of moving ahead of Flix, he will want to do that. It's only a 1 minute 46.0. So he goes 18 for the time being. Kellum, who will be in a battle with him actually. To move up the grid. 18th will be the best he can hope for. Some spinning sector 2. That'll be the... That's Red Dog just going off track. Now, of course, Martin, who is celebrating his birthday today, like I am. And there's Callum continuing his way round the circuit. There's less than 3 minutes to go. And Callum deciding to make his way back to the pits. And go back to Martin. He's behind the Haas of Big Boy. He's looking to improve on this lap from what he posted last time. Martin over the line, 1:45.6. It's 4 tenths faster than what he posted last time. And there's Red Dog continuing his way round. There's Calvin as well. So Calvin in the Red Bull, heading through turn 13. And they'll be braking for the hairpin. Calvin retiring from the session. He knows he's safe into Q2. So Red Dog onto the pit straight. The checker flag is out now. So the 5 drivers we lose at the end of Q1 are as follows. So we lose Red Dog, Dan, Martin, Flix and Callum from the end of that Q1 session. We'll be back for Q2, hopefully with a lot more action. Here we are then with Q2, and whilst we wait for the cars to go out on the circuit again, we'll run through the calendar as well. So last week we did Zandvoort, today is Shanghai. Next week we go to Budapest in Hungary, then it's Silverstone on the 17th, and then we take a couple of weeks break, or a few weeks break for Christmas, and then we return on the 7th of January for the Portuguese Grand Prix in Portimao, and then the following week will be Melbourne, then Imola, and then Interlagos to close off January. And then for February, we've got Montreal, Austin, Paul Ricard, and Yas Marina on the 25th. And then the final month of races, Baku on the 4th of March, Barcelona on the 11th, Sakhir on the 18th, and then the final round of the season will be at Suzuka, Japan on the 25th of that month. So it's a long season, 16 rounds. Jai-Hu will be hoping to be in championship contention this season. Fifth last week in Zandvoort for Jai-Hu. He's hoping for more than that here tonight. All 15 drivers are out on circuit. The rain has stopped from what we had earlier, so hopefully it won't come back. There are 4 drivers out there, I think. How many drivers are on the mediums? There are 6 drivers on the mediums. Jai-Hu is one of them. He goes over the line now to start his lap. Jai-Hu looking to impress here today. As he breaks 4 turn 6. Very nicely done through there, it has to be said. And he takes a wide line as he enters turn 7. And then 8, and then 9 and 10. And he's got the Red Bull right behind him, actually. He'll be going quicker. So Jai-Hu will want to, again, a move on here. That's Hamster behind him. He's on the soft compound. Hamster may even get a toe on this back straight if he's lucky enough. So Jai-Hu and Hamster, nose to tail here. They often see this in the qualifying session. But they both go over the line now. Jai-Hu posts a 133.8, Hamster will 131.9 on the softs. Sinix goes top though, 131.8. I think had it not been for Hamster being held up by Jai-Hu, he'd most definitely have gone quicker. Here's MDG in the Williams. He goes over the line now, and it's a 1 minute 31.8, and that puts him fastest of all. Cami in the Aston Martin. What can he do? He spins into the barrier, and he's lucky to continue. The front wing's definitely gone on that car. There's Noodles coming through. 132.0, and Cami's been disqualified for points in the wrong way, or going around the wrong way on the circuit. I think he was trying to get into the pit lane, but the thing is, he had already passed it, and what he should have done was just carry on for one more lap and make his way back into the pits that way. But unfortunately, his session is over, and he is out of qualifying. Dropped us over the line for Ferrari, 133.2, only good enough for 12th fastest. He's lost a lot of time somewhere by the looks of it. And there's Jai-Hu. He was not improving on this lap, so we'll come away from him. Scotty is 6th at the moment on a 1:32.4. Now he heads towards turn 16. In fact, he dives into the pit lane. And Reservoir looks like he's going on for another lap on his medium compound. Reservoir currently at risk in 10th place. So in sector 1, he's a couple of hundreds up from before, so far so good for the Alfa Romeo pilot. Now Reservoir is in turn 10 and heading towards the second sector. 600s up from before. And the rain has started to come down again on the Shanghai International Circuit. So Reservoir needs to make this lap count, really. Now, a lot of drivers I can imagine, will be heading back out on the track to get another lap in. So Reservoir coming through, looking to improve. One 33.1 was the way posted last time. This one's a 32.7, and he goes up to 9th place. Bruges currently 5th in the Alpine, marginally down through sector 2 from before. Rear wing open. On 32.3 for Bruges. It's not an improvement, so he stays in 5th position. Loftus is out on the circuit. He's in the drop zone right now in 12th place. So I think we're going to end up getting a repeat of Q1 at the moment, where the rain does come down in the early minutes and drivers are not able to improve their lap times. So Calvin currently 14th. He needs an improvement here, but I think he's going to find it very, very difficult to do so. So go back to Calvin. Let's see how he's getting on through sector 1. Seems to be neat and tidy through turns 1, 2, 3 and 4. How is he getting on through sector 1 here? 6 thousandths down from before. So it's not a lot. Now this is going to be the trickiest part, where you need a lot of high speed through this part of the course. And Calvin is a couple of hundredths up from before, but even that is nowhere near enough to get him out of the bottom 5. He needs more than this. He had to correct the steering wheel a couple of times through turns 12 and 13. So Calvin on the brink of a Q2 exit, unless he can find a heap of time in the last sector. So Calvin in the Rebel, crosses over the line and does not improve. So he stays where he is. And there's Droftus in the Ferrari, who's also on the brink of being knocked out. Jay Hartnell ahead of him by 100th. Scotty's out there also in the AlphaTauri. I doubt he's going to be improving his time with the way the conditions are. I think he may as well forget it. To be honest, part of me says I don't understand why they're trying to improve on a track that is not going to be better than what it was so before. So we see multiple drivers retiring from the session. So yeah, Scotty makes his way back into the pits. And I think Calvin will do the same as well, the areas. So no one is out on circuit right now. So just wait for the clock to tick down and reach 0, which will bring Q2 to a close. And the 5 drivers we will lose at the end of the session will be Jay Hard, Droftus, Jaihu, Calvin, and Cami. So just 2 drivers will be taking time penalties at the end of this race. Whatever happens, Flicks will have 10 seconds added, and the same for Noodles. Flicks's time penalty was for the collision he was involved with Reservite. If you have joined us, we do welcome you. Do get involved in the conversation. There's drivers coming in talking about what's happened there. Calvin coming in saying that's 2 weeks in a row was got done by the rain. Sorry to hear that, but it is part of racing sometimes. So Q2 ends. Jay Hartnell, Droftus, Jaihu, Kelvin, and Cami out of qualifying. Colin, Reservite, and Rabico making it through on the mediums. MDG was fastest in that Q2 session. We've got one session to come, so make sure you do not go anywhere. Here we are then for Q3, and the conditions are wet this time, so I think we are definitely going to be seeing the action that we are after. Will improve. If they do, then we're definitely going to be in for a thriller of a Q3 session, definitely more so than we had of Q1 and Q2. MDG making his way out on circuit now. I imagine all the drivers will be heading out there. We've got 6 of them so far. Hamster is obviously one of them. Scotty making his way out now, as is Big Boy. Bruges leaving his garage now, leaving Rabico the only one not to leave his garage. I think he may well be doing that now in a moment, unless he decides to wait for the gap in the traffic to do that. And someone's gone off into the wall. Is that Reservoir? Yeah, he's gone off the racetrack. He's rejoined. I hope he hasn't sustained any rear wing damage from that. So MDG in the Williams. So MDG begins his timed lap. The man who finished runner-up last season in Tier 1. Aiming for his first victory of the season here in Shanghai. And Reservoir is back in the pits, and I think he may have sustained either some front wing or rear wing damage. I do think we're going to see some multiple efforts or multiple flying laps from these guys on the intermediates. MDG 58.9 by Sector 2. MDG brakes for turn 14. He's heading over the line now. MDG posting a 1:43.5. So that's the benchmark for the others to beat. Sinix cross the line, 1:43.9 for him. Hamster is next. 1:43.2 goes fastest so far. We've got Noodles next, I believe. No, it's Colin. He goes to the top by more than 600ths of a second. Noodles over the line, 1:45.3 for him. And we've got Scotty. And behind him is Big Boy. Both of them not on very good laps by the looks of things. 1:44.8 for Scotty. And Big Boy's in the wall. And his front wing's gone missing. Now I think because he's already gone past the pit lane, he'll have to go round before he comes back in. There's Bruges in the Alpine, and the rain, I believe, seems to have stopped. So could dry tyres or slicks be far away? We've got just under 7 minutes remaining, and I will say we will be seeing the slicks go on these cars. As Bruges goes over the line, it's not a representative lap time. Reservoir out on circuit on a set of intermediates. You'll probably feel that it's still the tyre to be on. And starts the lap now. So Reservoir coming towards Sector 1. It's a 27.4. It's posted by this stage. John Robico out on circuit on the intermediates as well. Reservoir coming towards Sector 2. It's a 59.2 for the Alfa Romeo pilots. He makes his way towards turn 14. And so Reservoir turns in, and where does he go in comparison to the others? It's a decent lap here by the looks of it. 1:43.9 puts him 5th. Well, Robico has started his flying lap. Sonics is on his out lap as well. So we're into the closing minutes of qualifying here. Bruges is not on any improvement. And the DRS has now been enabled. You can see Robico struggling for grip there on the intermediates. Surely the dry tyres are the tyres to be on. And I think Big Boy is about to go out on circuit on those now. There's Noodles making his way back in. Reservoir improving during the course of this lap. But surely he must be thinking of coming into the pits for slicks. He's heading towards Sector 2 now. He's only a 10.5 up from before. He's got just over 3 minutes left of Q3, with Colin fastest by over 600ths of a second. Hamster in P2, then it's MDG another quarter of a second behind. Reservoir does not come into the pits. Now that's interesting. I think he's committed himself. He goes 4th with that lap time, but surely He should have been in the pits to get slicks on. And he's got no more time now to get into the pits for slicks and come back out on. He's committed himself to what he's got. Don Robico also doing the same. He's 100th down from before through Sector 1. Reservoir coming into Sector 1 now. 6/10 down from before. Robico not going that quick at the moment by the looks of things. Oh, he's nearly lost it. He'd gone into the barrier there. And there's Big Boy on slicks right now. So Robico going for another time like Big Boy, just giving himself some space, but I think he's going to find himself in a heap of bother in a moment. He should have just backed off a long time ago before catching up to Robico, but because Robico's on the intermediates, Big Boy is going to be right on his tail through the corners. In fact, Robico's getting out of the way now. He knows that the gig is up for him in qualifying. So Big Boy coming through Sector 1 now. You can see he's going a lot quicker. It was 25.1 though. But the track will be getting quicker. Reservoir comes back into the pits. Bruges decided not to go out again. I'm quite surprised he's done that, to be honest with you, unless he sustained some floor damage or something like that. 6.2 seconds up from before for Big Boy. This is looking good to go fastest for the time being. The checker flag will come in the next 10 seconds. So the checker flag is out now. Anyone on a fast lap can complete it. Big Boy will be the first one over the line. Entering the last turn. And Big Boy over the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 34.8. So I expect faster times from those behind him. MDG is next in the Williams. He's surely going to find some more time because of the track conditions as they are now. Robico back in the pits. He's not going to be improving his time. Reservoir's worst case scenario now would probably be 8th or higher, because Bruges is in the pits and he's below him. Robico in the pits also, he's below him. But MDG over the line, 1:32.7. That puts him to provisional pole position. Here's Hamster in the Red Bull. Can he go even better here? He can. It's a 1:32.5 for him. Noodles goes third with 1:33.4. And then we've got Cynix over the line for AlphaTauri. 1:32.6. He goes to the front row for the time being. Scotty is next up in the other AlphaTauri. Is he doing enough here, the reigning champion? No, he doesn't. Only 4 for 1:32.8. Colin, the last one over the line. It's not an improvement. So at the end of that session, it is Hamster on pole position for Red Bull here in China. Cynix will join him on the front row alongside it's MDG and Scotty on the second row, followed by Noodles and Big Boy. Colin made a mistake on his last attempt, so he stays in P7. Reservoir down to 8, Bruges 9th, and Robico running out the top 10. Qualifying's over. Next is the 28 lap Chinese Grand Prix, and we look forward to it, and we hope you are as well. We'll be back in a moment. And a change to the rules as well is that the formation laps are now removed from the lobbies for the foreseeable future in the CDR. So we won't be seeing a formation lap. We'll be going straight into the race. It's dry as well, so we are expecting those who have made it into Q3 to be starting the race on the same tyres as they had set their fastest Q2 times. So the countdown has begun, and when it does reach 0, red lights will illuminate, and this race in China will begin. It was Rabico who won last time out in Zandvoort. Can he repeat the feat, or will we have a different race winner? And what's shaping up to be a very close fight on circuit between a lot of the drivers in Tier 1 in the CDR. So the 5 red lights come on. When they go out, we'll be racing here in Shanghai. It's the lights out, and away we go. Hamster seems to go off to a very good start, but he's got Silence alongside in the AlphaTauri into turn 1, and Hamster remains in the lead ahead of Silence with MDG holding firm in 3rd place, and that's the Mercedes of Needles going for a spin. So he's fallen back. Hamster keeping himself out of trouble so far, with Silence in 2nd place. It's MDG and Scotty in 3rd and 4th, and then we've got Colin in 5th in the Mercedes, followed by Big Boy and Droftus and Rabico in 7th and 8th. There's the Williams of Red Dog diving to the inside there, forcing the Ferrari of Dan off the racetrack. He won't be too pleased with that manoeuvre there from the Williams, and that's a Haas going off track as well. That's Jaiho, and there's plenty of debris being thrown around. Is that Reservoir's front wing's gone? No, it's Martin who gets tagged there and nearly taking out the Aston Martin there. There's going to be plenty of pit lane activity at the end of lap 1. So much mayhem happening further behind. All sorts of pandemonium going on. But it's the start that Hamster wanted, and he remains in the lead. And I have to say, Droftus has made a good start actually on the hard compound side. There's a mixture of strategies going on involving the drivers as they come on to this long back straight. At least all 20 cars are still running for the time being at least. Just look to see if there's any changes going on further behind. Not really too much happening. There is Bruise down the inside of Red Dog for what is for 13th position. And Martin ducking into the pits, as does Noodles. So both of them in need of front wings. Hamster remaining in front. There's no DRS for the first 2 laps of the race, as we watch Colin close in on Scotty in the fight over 4th position. So Martin's race hasn't got off to the best of starts. Not so for Noodles, who will be serving a time penalty at the end of this race, whatever happens for his shenanigans in Zandvoort a week ago. And Cammy's gone for a spin in the Aston Martin. He continues on his way, but he's fallen down to 18th position. And Scotty under threat here from Colin. He's desperate to get in front. He won't have DRS on this back straight because it hasn't been enabled yet, but he carries on regardless, and he's going to go through into 4th position. And Hamster with a new fastest lap. The field looks to settle down into this race now. The DRS has now been enabled. There are 2 DRS zones on this circuit, one on the back straight in between turns 13 and 14, and the other on the pit straight. And Hamster is managed to get out of that 1 second window, so he's not under threat of the DRS. Sinex at the moment is not under threat of the DRS. Colin looking to get out of territory as well. There's Droftus in 7th position on the hard compound, doing very, very well. So Big Boy holding it up there in the Haas. So as the field filters their way through, Droftus will be hoping that Big Boy doesn't have the DRS, which I'm not so sure if he does actually. He does, so Droftus will be using it as much as Big Boy is. I doubt he's going to be able to get a move done on him time around. There's MDG closing in on Sinix, but not able to make a move at the moment. There's Reservoir and Jaihu going through turn 14. Good contact made, but nothing dramatic. And Scotty's in the pits, as is Big Boy. So at the end of lap 3, is there anyone else doing the same thing? Not at the moment by the looks of things. As we watch Callum go to the outside there of the Williams of Flicks. Not able to make the move stick. So Cammy goes through. And Dan has gone for a spin in the Ferrari, pointing the wrong way. Here's Reyes, goes from bad to worse, and he's obviously picked up front wing damage, so that'll be him off into the pit lane. And he started the race on the hard compound side, so that's his strategy completely wrecked. Hamster holding on to the race lead. And now MDG behind the AlphaTauri. He's not able to use the DRS on this occasion. And there's Calvin, who's fought his way through the field nicely, up from 14th, and he's found his way up into 6th. There's Jaihu behind Reservoir in the fight for 8th. And Scotty and Big Boy rejoining in 16th and 17th. Well, there were positions better than that before they got by Dan, who's struggling with that front wing damage. So we're on lap 5 of this race now. 2.5 seconds it is between Hamster and Sinex. Flicks now in the pits for Williams. He must have picked up, not Williams, sorry, he's in the Alpine. The graphic looks different, obviously, with the Williams and Alpine's colour schemes. Done into the pits now for Ferrari for a new nose cone. Oh, someone's gone off. It's Colin. Front wing gone. Now, is that going to deploy the virtual safety car with all that debris lying there? It shouldn't really do, if I'm honest with you. Continues on his way, but he's well down the order. So Colin down the order, making a mistake at turn 7 and throwing the car off the racetrack. There's Kellen behind Red Dog. He's run into the back of the Williams. So he came in too close, front wing gone. Well, part of the front wing gone. And Jay Hartnell will surely go past him with ease. Further ahead, there's Jaihu and Reservoir fighting over 7th position. Callum lets Jay Hartnell through there. I think he knows he may as well just get into the pit lane and get a new nose cone fitted on. And Colin now with a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It just goes from bad to worse for him and for Mercedes today. Hartnell getting ahead of Red Dog as well. So we're on lap 6. MDG within a second of Synix as they go through the detection point. And MDG will use the DRS on this long back straight. No retirement so far. So Scotty behind Cammy in 13th place. MDG getting by Synix as both him and Hamster are in the pits. So Hamster getting rid of those soft compound tyres. Mediums go on for Synix, hard tyres for Hamster. And Hamster rejoins with some clean air ahead of him. MDG remaining out there for another lap. Bruges in the pits also for Alpine. He rejoins in 14th place. And someone's gone off in sector 2, and that's Calvin in the Red Bull, who was running in 4th place, I think, or 3rd. He's dropped down a position anyway. And Droftis is behind MDG now. There's Jaihu behind Calvin. Jaihu will have the DRS and he'll go past him easily. Calvin not even fighting it. And MDG into the pits now for Williams at the end of lap 7. He won't get out in front of Hamster, and I don't think he's going to get out in front of Synix either, who's just got in front of Jay Hartnell. And it is the hard compound going on for him. He could try and get to the end of the race on that. He'll have to manage his tyres well. He joins ahead of his teammate. Scotty also in. And this is his second stop of the race. Has he picked up damage? Series AlphaTauri. And looks like Cammy's also gone for a spin in the Aston Martin. The soft compound size going on for Scotty and a new front wing. So he rejoins in 18th place ahead of Colin. So Droftis is the new race leader with Rabico second. Droftis nearly losing it there on the exit of 13. Calvin wants to get his own back on Jaihu. DRS is open. It won't be as easy as what Jaihu did to him a lap ago. Calvin to the outside. Jaihu does leave him enough space, and Calvin, does he get back through? I think he's done it there. So he's back through into 3rd place. Jaihu will get him back on the pit straight though. That's a place gained for him. Synix with a new fast start, 1:35.0 for him. MDG looking to go to the end of the race on the compound he's on. Bruges posting his best lap of the race, and that's Cammy coming into the pits for Aston Martin. he got damage to his car? Is this a scheduled pit stop? I think it's a scheduled pit stop. He'll rejoin in last place behind Dan. And looks like someone has gone for a spin. That'll be MDG, in fact, in the Williams. So he's ripped off his front wing. No, he's going to struggle to get through the corner with no front wing there. With all that downforce missing. So he's hit the wall. And MDG's race has gone from bad to worse now. Not good. And Calvin will look to make a move on Jaihu with the rear wing open. So MDG makes his way into the pit lane. Can he slow the car down in time? That was very nearly an accident into the wall. Just about slow the car within the pit lane speed limit. And he's going to fall out of the top 15, to be honest with you. May even fall to last place. Maybe not last place, but he's down to 18th after that. So Droftus maintaining the lead at the moment. Rabico 1.5 seconds behind. And there's Calvin. Looking to make a move on Jaihu. The ring is open. Hamster passing Reservoir for 5th place. Hamster catching the curves there. Caught it in time. And that's Jaihu trying to get back through on Calvin, but Calvin's got ahead of Jaihu now. So Calvin through into P3. There's Noodles and Callum fighting over 13th place. Callum goes to the inside. He gets through as well. Goes in too deep though. Red Dog now in the pits for Williams. He's only done 10 laps on those medium compound tyres. Noodles won't want to be going off track like that too often. Callum gets back ahead. Noodles still in there though. To the inside on the hard compounds, and he goes through into 12th place. Red Dog falls down to last place now after that pit stop. We're expecting to go to the end of the race on the hard compound. So there are at the moment 6 drivers who have still yet to make a pit stop. Droftus, Rabico, Calvin, Jaihu, Reservoir and Jay Hartnell, those drivers. Well, Rabico is coming into the pits now for McLaren. He gets the car slowed down in time. Where will he rejoin? That is the question. There are the hard compound size going on, and out he goes. Not sure he'll go in front of his teammate, but we'll wait and see. Jay Hartnell is coming down. I think Rabico will go out in front of him. There he is, look. So Rabico has got a bit of clean air and track position, and he's got a shot at going for the race victory now. There's Hamster holding on to 4th position ahead of Sinex. This is technically the battle for the lead at the moment. And Flicks passing Noodles for 13th. MDG with a new fastest lap. He's currently running in 17th place behind Colin. And Flix is trying to get past Callum as well. And Flix going to the inside. Does Callum leave enough space? He does so. And there's a bit of a slipstream going on as Jaihu looks to get back in front of Calvin. Oh, contact made. Jaihu and Calvin keep going though. Now, when will either of them pit in? They're not pitting in this lap. Now, what about Reservoir? He stays out as well. Now, Rabico has a chance of victory. And he's catching Reservoir. And DG passes Colin for 16th. And Reservoir now with a time penalty for track limits, unfortunately. 3 seconds it is, which will be added to his time at the end of the race. And Scotty in for his 3rd stop of the race. And it looks like Red Dog has also just gone for a bit of a spin at turn 14. Mediums now go on Scotty's car. And Scotty now rejoins in last place because Red Dog has just got in front of him, but the two are going side by side. Scotty holds his line there and he remains in front of the Williams. There's Jaihu on the inside of Calvin. And Sinix is also closing in on Hamster. Now, what will Jaihu and Calvin decide to do? Well, they're deciding to stay out for another lap. Oh, and that's Sinix into the wall! And he's out of the race! So Sinix, who lost it on the exit of the last turn, is that going to be out the safety car with him stranded there? We'll find out in a moment, but Sinix's hopes of the victory are dashed. He is out of the Chinese Grand Prix. Now Reservoir into the pits for a new nose cone in the Alfa Romeo. This is his 1st stop of the race as well. His teammate's gone through. He should rejoin ahead of Kellen though. Don't want to be crossing the pit exit line though, which he doesn't do. So Sinix becomes the 1st retirement of the race. We're on lap 14, which is the halfway point. Now Jaihu and Calvin are holding up Hamster. Now this is going to play into the hands of Rabico. So he'll be on better tyres than these guys ahead. Now is Calvin going to make a move on Jaihu down this back straight? So Calvin and Jaihu decide to stay out there for another lap, which is interesting. Now is Calvin going to get ahead into turn 1 this time around with ahead of Jaihu? The answer is no on this occasion. And Big Boy moves in front of Jay Hartnell now for 6th place, and that's because Hartnell is in for his only stop of the race. He's put his pit limiter on very early, and that's going to lose him time. I'm not sure if he's even practiced around China this year. Martin goes ahead of him. Yeah, Jay Hartnell's premature usage of the pit lane speed limit is going to cost him dear. He's fallen down to 15th place now. So Joftis out in front, 16 seconds clear of Jaihu. Kelvin and Hamster closing in behind in third and fourth on the road. Hamster goes through ahead of his teammate. He knows, Kelvin knows he's on a different strategy to him. And Joftis in. That's earlier than I thought it would be, to be honest with you. 15 laps on the hards. So Jaihu goes through. And there's Rabico coming down the pit straight as well. And Rabico is through ahead of him. So Rabico in front of Joftis. The Joftis is going to be on better tyres than the McLaren. So Jaihu staying out there on 15 lap old mediums. He gets attacked from behind though by Hamster. So Flix and MDG fighting over 11th position. Hamster on the inside of Jaihu as they enter turn 14, and the Hamster goes through into the lead. Jaihu left in space, and I think that may prompt him to come into the pits at the end of this lap, or does he stay out there? No, he stays out there, which is surprising, and so does Kelvin. Are these two bridging it out for when they do go onto the soft compound later on? There's Joftis getting through on Rabico, so that's the difference of having new tyres on. Reservoir passes Martin for 8th place. Martin, who pits very on in this race for damage. He's coming in for his second stop now. Has he got another set of mediums ready for him? There is another set of mediums going on. So he rejoins behind Scotty in 18th position. So Kelvin, he's only losing it on the curves actually. Jaihu will be looking to defend here. Joftis has also got in on the act by closing on these two. Surely Jaihu and Kelvin must be pitting in at the end of this lap. They're still staying out there. They're still staying out there. They're risking it. Well, Joftis with a new fastest lap is going to surely move in front of Kelvin here. He's going to do it through turn 1. Whilst we see these guys battling, MDG's got a time penalty now for track limits. And Big Boy into the pits for Haas. Reservoir will move back ahead of him. So Joftis to the outside. Doesn't quite do it from there. He's got Rabico behind him as well that he needs to watch out for. Colin moving in front of Flix for a moment into 10th, but Flix is fighting back. So Joftis behind the Red Bull and the Haas. And a nice move there from Joftis to move up into third place. He'll have the DRS as well to close in on Jaihu. Calvin's on the inside there of Joftis. There's no way he's going to have the grip on the exit. Rabico right behind on the pit straight, and I think Joftis is going to move in front of Jaihu here now to the outside into turn one, and he goes through. So Joftis through into second place as he got the tyres to go after Hamster for the race victory. Rabico will be thinking the same. There's Bruges on his own in sixth position. And who's that that's just ducked into the pits there? That is Flicks in the Alpine. Medium tyres go on for him. He will be joining 18th position. So we're on lap 19 of this race, soon to be lap 20. 9 to go. Hamster on course for victory, and that's Jaihu finally ducking into the pit. Calvin staying out there for another lap. As Jaihu left his pit stop too late though. He'll go onto the soft compound. It won't be the mediums because in a dry race you have to run at least 2 different dry compounds. Jaihu has only been on the mediums, and it is soft compound. Tyres going on. He'll only lose 1 position. And he rejoins well ahead of Reservoir actually. So Jaihu in a good position on track. And there's Joftis all over the back now of Hamster in the fight for the race win. Noodles into the pits for Mercedes. Don't know what compound is going to go on. It's the mediums that are going to go on the Merc. And he'll fall down to 18th place. So Joftis will have the DRS on this back straight. We'll ride on board with him behind Hamster. Rear-wing open. He pulls out to the left. Hamster defends his line. Does Hamster does he go in too deep? No, he's covered his line well. So very well done there from Hamster. So Joftis with the rear wing open on the pit straight. Red Dog's gone for a spin on the exit of turn 4. And Joftis is through into the lead ahead of Hamster. So Joftis leads the Chinese Grand Prix. Could that be the decisive moment in this Grand Prix? Calvin's in the pits now for Red Bull. Soft compound tyres going on for him, which will see him to the end. Jaihu will go ahead of him, I think. Closing in on Bruges whilst he's at it. So Calvin rejoins in 6th ahead of Reservoir. There's MGG recovering well to 8th, but he does have that penalty hanging over him, which as it stands will cost him only the 1 position. Now can Hamster stay in touch with Joftis and get the DRS on the back straight? It won't be easy for him to do so. Rabico is closing in as well. Whilst we watch Bruges and Jaihu fight over 4th position. There's Calvin going way off the track there. And Hamster staying in touch. He will have the DRS on the pit straight. Josh has just got to be careful not to take too much life out of those medium compound tyres. He's only been on them for over 5 laps. Hamster's been on his for over 14. So Jai-Hoo in 5th place. Colin gets past Callum as well for 10th on the road. So we watch Jai-Hoo closing on Bruges. And even if Jai-Hoo was to get past, he still have 18 seconds to make up on Rabico, which is far too much at this stage now. Even if Jai-Hoo is on fresh softs. He needs to do it as soon as he can because he's got Calvin closing on him at the same time. And someone's had a moment in sector 1. It's one of the Aston Martins that's gone for a spin. That'll be Cami, who's resumed without any further problems. Into the last quarter of the race now. So Jai-Hoo with the DRS surely now. He's got plenty of DRS left in there, but to be fair, so has Bruges. Jai-Hoo's going to have the DRS though. Bruges won't have that luxury. Jai-Hoo to the inside, and he's past the Alpine with no issue. Straight through and up to 4th place. Now, can Calvin get through as well? He's into the slipstream. He's supposed to nearly fast as that. He's going to go to the inside, surely into turn 1. And Calvin goes past the Alpine, does he? Yes, he does. Very nice move there from the Red Bull. That's Calvin through up to P5. Three seconds is the gap now between Joftis and Hamster. So Hamster's dropped back from Joftis. Is just about to put a lap actually on Red Dog ahead. Now Calvin is all over the back of Jai-Hoo here. Rabico closing in also on Hamster. Cami in the pits for Aston Martin. Now, is this going to be him calling it a day? Or is he going to put a set of soft compound tyres on and maybe try and go for a fastest lap? Let's put the soft compound tyres on now, so he's on his way. And Red Dog into the pits, and I think this is going to be a retirement for him. He's had another lacklustre day. Jai-Hoo still holding 4th position ahead of Calvin. And Calvin with the DRS behind Jai-Hoo. To the inside, Red Dog's coming out of the pits there. The car is ghosted. And Calvin's doing to 4th position. Very nice move. And now we watch Colin make a move here on Big Boy for 9th. He's passed and up to 9th place. He has that penalty hanging over him though. 5 seconds it is. Which will be added to his time at the end of the race, and as it stands, he will lose 2 positions. Unless he can start pulling away from these guys, of course. Dan in the pits for Ferrari. Slows the car down in time. He's not had a good race tonight, to be honest with you. So, the number 13, unlucky for some. Dan rejoins in 17th position. And Scotty, the reigning champion, running in 14th place behind Martin. You'd only get 3 championship points for finishing 13th, but points are points. Just hasn't been Scotty's day today either, has it? And Rabico now 1.9 seconds, made that 1.7 seconds behind Hamster with 4 laps remaining. He's got enough time. Dan gets a penalty for exceeding track limits, unfortunately. He won't care, to be honest with you. And the gap is now 1.2 seconds. So it's coming down all the time. Rabico is not in DRS range yet. He's close to doing so. Now Hamster's moving across more than once on the straight, actually, which the stewards may want to have a word with him afterwards for that. His excuse will be that he's just trying to get out of the toe, not necessarily to block Rabico. And Hamster got a poor exit coming out of the last turn. Rabico does have the DRS. It's probably too far back to do it here, to go have a go into turn 1. Hamster holds his line. Rabico waits behind. Rabico goes to the outside, but Hamster holds him back for now. It's been a sterling effort again from Rabico today. Now, Droftus, who started the race 12th on the grid, after he was knocked out in Q2, and looks like Cammy's gone off the racetrack actually, and the race leader's gone through ahead of him to put a lap on Cammy as we watch Rabico and Hamster fight over P2. Oh, and Hamster, in fact, Hamster's just let the climbing through easily, so I think he knows that he'd have been overtaken on the back straight with Rabico having the DRS. Unless he knows that he was going to lose the position anyway. So DRS open for Hamster as Rabico moves up to second. Dan with a new fastest lap. He won't get the point for that because he's outside the top 10. So just looking at penalties at the moment, because of those we had at the beginning of the race, Noodles will have 10 seconds added to his time, whatever happens with the penalty he already has. And someone's gone off in sectors 1 and 2. That'll be Dan, actually. He's only just posted the fast lap and now he's just had a spin of his own. So it's Flicks and Noodles who will be serving penalties. So it'll be 13 seconds for Flicks and 15 for Noodles. But even that won't change their finishing positions as it stands. So as it stands for those further ahead with penalties, Reservoir won't lose any, neither will NDG or Colin. But there's Droftus with over a lap remaining before he takes victory. Just see him back in the title hunt. Bearing in mind this is only the second round of the season. Droftus was third last week in the Netherlands. He's about to go 2 positions better here today. He'll collect 25 points, which just sees points total go up to 41. Rabico's second position would see him go on to 45, so he will remain as the championship leader by 4 points. So we've not had a single virtual safety car or a safety car in this race. Fairly clean straight through. And Calvin now with a time penalty. Now, as it stands, he would just keep hold of 4th position ahead of Jaihu, but he won't want to be losing too much time on this final lap. So Joftis on his last lap. As Flix goes for a spin in the Alpine that continues. So Joftis coming through, and it looks like Cammy's gone for a bit of a spin in the Aston Martin. I think he's just letting Robico and Hamster through. Those two are not close enough to be fighting anymore now. So we'll go back to the leader of Joftis. He's coming towards the last couple of corners. Joftis in the Ferrari. He's going to win the Chinese Grand Prix in Shanghai. Joftis takes it for Ferrari in the CDR. Rabico will come through to finish in 2nd place. A very good result for him. He keeps hold of the championship lead. Hamster coming home in 3rd place. So that's another top 4 finish for him. Here is Calvin, who should keep hold of 4th position. And Jaihu will be 5th for Haas. He's run out of fuel, in fact. I think that's Red Dog has just got back ahead of him on the road. So Bruges 6th, Reservoir 7th, MDG will be 8th, Colin 9th. Big Boy has just got past Callum on the last lap to go up into 10th place. So Big Boy coming through for 10th, Callum 11th, Jay Hartnett will be 12th, Scotty in a disappointing 13th place, only just ahead of Martin, in fact. Noodles will be 15th, Flix will drop down to 17th place behind Dan, so Dan will be 16th, Flix 17th, and it'll be Cammy a lap down in 18th, Red Dog 19th, and Cynix, the only driver, believe it or not, to not finish. So 19 out of the 20 making it to the end of today's race, which is good driving stunts, has to be said, as far as the CDR is concerned. But here is your race winner, Joftis in the Ferrari. So here's your final race result here in Shanghai. Joftis wins ahead of Rabico in 2nd, Hamster 3rd, Calvin 4th, Jaihu 5th, Bruges 6th, Reservoir in a fine 7th, MDG in 8th, Colin 9th, Big Boy running out the top 10. We've got Callum 11th, ahead of Jay Hartnell and Scotty. Martin in a disappointing 14th place. Not the kind of birthday present he wanted, really. Noodles 15th, or they'll drop down to 16th. He keeps on the 15th place, I should say. It's Flix who drops down a position because of the penalty he picked up from a week ago in Zandvoort, I believe, although he may keep hold of that because Dan was so far behind him. So Flix is 16th, Dan 17th, Cammy 18th, Red Dog 19th, and Cynix, the only driver to not finish. That's all for today. Thank you very much for joining us. Do make sure you join us next week for the next round, which will be, as far as I'm concerned, it will be in Budapest in Hungary for round 3 of the championship. 4 points is the gap, with Rabico on 45 points, and then it's Joftis next behind in 2nd on 41. Thank you for joining us. Do make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll do it over again next week. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when the CDR returns.